Good day everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to a new review. For today I have another S912 TV box called the ZEN box. So aside from that we get 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of internal storage and of course running Android 6. Let's check out and see what comes with it and then let's see how it performs. Let's begin. The ZEN box comes in this black plain looking box. On the front we see a picture of the device and on the back some specifications. Inside the box we are going to find the remote control. This remote control takes 2 AAA batteries and I do recommend using a wireless keyboard and mouse for a better experience. Aside from that we are going to find the power adapter, and again it's the same power adapter that we've seen for many TV boxes. We are going to find the user manual. It's a rather simple user manual and also an HDMI cable. The ZEN box looks a bit different than most TV boxes that we've seen. On top there we have some shiny plastic and also the brand name, and we also have some cool blue LED lights all around the box. On the left hand side we are going to find 2 USB ports and also on the right hand side. So we have 4 USB ports on this particular device. We are also going to get a slot for an SD card, and on the back we are going to get the network adapter port, the optical audio, HDMI, AV, and where the power adapter goes. Turning the box around, we are also going to find 2 rubber feet and some holes so the box doesn't overheat. And now that we've seen how the box looks like and what comes with it, let's check it out. As soon as we turn this on, we see ZEN box 4K, and this is the exact same thing that we've seen on the box. And this is their boot up animation. And it takes about 30 seconds for the box to start up. First things first, we have the navigation bar at the bottom of the screen, so we can also hide this. And then we can bring it back up, and that means that we also have the notification tab on top, which is great. Alright, so let's start by checking out what apps come pre-installed. So we get an app install, we get the browser, Facebook, Cartoon HD, you can basically watch movies here. We also get the Gmail app, we have the movie player, Miracast right there, Netflix, Play Store, YouTube, and a whole bunch of other apps. So we do get a whole bunch of apps pre-installed from the factory. And now let's go to the settings app and check out the settings app. So first of all, at the network here you can either connect to Wi-Fi or through a cable, and since we are here, let's check out the speeds over a cable and over Wi-Fi. Through a wired connection we get some disappointing speed. So this was the download speed through a wire, so 15 and 12. I did try this a couple of times to make sure that I got it right. So yeah, very disappointing speeds connected through a wire. This is over the 5 GHz Wi-Fi network, so we get 56, that's decent, but over the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi network we get a disappointing speed of about 5 download. So yeah, definitely the speeds over Wi-Fi are not the greatest. And we are back to the settings app. A display here, you can change the screen resolution. This will be different depending on the TV that you have connected to the TV box. At screen positioning you can zoom in or zoom out the screen, and the HDR mode will be off for the duration of this video. Moving back to the settings app, at sounds here you can basically change the sounds at digital sounds depending on your setup at home. I did try Dolby Digital and DTS on Kodi. Unfortunately, no DTS file was able to be played on Kodi. So we have Kodi 17 and DTS files will not play with Kodi. However, you can play both DTS and Dolby Digital if you use the player that comes pre-installed. So let me show you the player. So if you use this movie player here, both DTS and Dolby Digital will do fine, but not with Kodi. At about here we can see the model name, so we have the ZEN box 2, we also see the Android version here, which is Android 6.0.1, and the latest security patch is coming from June 1st, 2016. I'm gonna go to languages, I'm gonna show you what languages are available on this TV box. So we have a whole bunch of languages like most of them, and I'm just gonna scroll through them. So a lot of languages available. But HDMI-C, you can basically set the box to turn on or off whenever the TV comes on or off. So it's a useful feature for some of us. And now let's go to more settings here. And at more settings I want to see storage and USB. So storage and USB here. So out of the 16 gigs that we have pre-installed, we get about 11.38 available. So the other 5 are actually being taken by the operating system. Keep in mind that this TV box has Android 6, so you can install an SD card as internal memory. So it really depends on the size of the SD card, but you can just insert that SD card to have more internal memory. These are the speeds that we get for the internal memory, so reading it's about 49 and writing it's about 17, so not the absolute best speeds. And this is the speed for the RAM. For those of you that are wondering, we do get root access from the factory, and this is the digital rights management information that we get. Before we go any further, I wanted to touch on the Play Store. So yes, the Play Store does work really good, so I haven't found any issues with any apps that I wanted to install from the Play Store. So I'm very happy to see that the Play Store works correctly on this TV box. And I've also tried out the multitasking on this box, because we know that some of them close the apps running in the background. So all the apps that I have running, I don't have that many, but they all seem to be running in the background, and none of them are actually closed by the operating system. So that's a good thing, because as I said before, some of them actually kill the apps in the background. On the Antutu Benchmark we get a score of about 35,000, and here at info you can see some more details about this device. Moving on to the Geekbench 4 results, here we get a multi-core score of 2000 and a single core score of 443. And for the last benchmark test on the iStorm Extreme we get a score of 7432, and this is higher than I was expecting, to be honest. And now here we can see some details about the score. And the CPU Z app can confirm everything that we already know about this device. So I'm just gonna scroll through this. And here we can check the temperature for the processor at this particular time after all those benchmark tests. The ZEN box comes pre-installed with Kodi 17, and I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, because I found that Kodi 16.1 it's more stable. So I'm gonna go to system information. Here I'm gonna show you some things that we have around here. I know that some of you are interested in this. So we don't have that much free memory at this particular time. And let me show you the add-ons that we get here. So at video add-ons we do get some add-ons pre-installed, but you know how it is with the add-ons that we get pre-installed on a lot of these. Most of them don't actually work. So I'm gonna try to find a working one. Let's try this one for example and see if we can get something going. Let's try this one. Let's try the US. I just want to see Kodi going, I don't really care what we find. So let's try this one now. Oh, the shopping holiday season, that's the best. And as you're probably seeing, it did start right away. And again, I don't see why Kodi wouldn't go good. But keep in mind that you cannot watch movies with DTS and Dolby Digital. So DTS files don't actually play, the sound doesn't even come on. So you're gonna have to keep that in mind. So that's about it for Kodi, but since we are here I'm gonna plug in my USB stick and we'll check out some files and see what works and what doesn't work on this TV box. So I'm gonna start with the first file here. I'm just gonna skip forward. So I did try a couple of files before and they all seem to do fine. My only concern was the fact that you cannot actually watch DTS files. That's my only thing. But I know that a lot of you don't have surround sound systems at home, so it shouldn't really matter. This one also works fairly good. The following one, it's a 4K file at 59 frames per second. And this one also does good as well. Keep in mind that if you leave that HDR mode on in the settings there, this file will not work. This one will also do fine. This is a 4K file at 50 frames per second. Moving on to this 720p file. So again, this one will do just fine without any issues. Moving on to this file here. Just like the other ones, will do just fine. I'm gonna skip all the way to the end. So this one works okay. The following one will also work okay without any issues. So realistically, most files will do just fine without any problems. And that was my phone talking to me. Moving on to this file. This is a 4K file at 24 frames per second, I believe, was filmed with my phone. And this one also does fairly good. Let's see what else we have here. So let me try this one here. And yes, most files will do just fine. But I'm gonna show you the only one file that will not actually work, and this is gonna be that one. So nothing is happening, like the TV box is kind of frozen as soon as you click on that, so nothing is happening. So most files will work fine on Kodi, but just remember that DTS sound if you're actually planning to use this TV box for surround sound. I have Miracast opened and I have my Xiaomi Mi Note 2 connected, and as you can probably tell it does do fairly good. And I'm just gonna open the gallery here, and here let me see if I can play a little video from last night. So this one, for example, let's see what happens if we play this one. And it does seem to work. It's not totally smooth as it is on the phone, and the resolution it's not as good as it would be on the phone as well, but it does seem to do fairly good. So for pictures it will also works really good, but you'd have to like turn the phone around so you can see the picture on the full screen. So it does seem to work really good. Moving on to the YouTube app. Here the maximum resolution on the YouTube app, it's 1080p at 60 frames per second. Again, this could be different if I would have a different TV connected to this TV box, but my TV has a 1080p resolution. So I'm just gonna select this and we'll let this play for a bit so you can see how it goes. So it does seem to go fairly smooth. And I can't wait for the summer once again, because it is rather cold now. So YouTube 1080p 60 frames per second, and it does seem to do fine. And for the last test I have FIFA 16 going. And the S912 should do good for most games. I think I've seen this game a bit smoother in the past, but yeah, it should be pretty good for most games that you're gonna be playing on this TV box. I do have a Bluetooth gamepad connected. It's a Xiaomi Bluetooth gamepad, and yeah, it does work fine without any issues. So I'm just gonna play a bit more. But yeah, I've definitely seen this game smoother in the past. And goal again. So that's it for the gaming test. And it's time to conclude. So if you don't like the launcher that comes pre-installed with this box, you can always install a different launcher like Nova Launcher. I have it going on right now. So yeah, you definitely have options for launchers. So about this TV box, I wasn't that happy about the Wi-Fi's performance. The Wi-Fi is rather slow, so you may have issues if you're far away from the wireless router. You could always use a cable, but for some reason even the speeds through a wired connection weren't that great. So keep that in mind considering this box, but it's a good thing that you can find this box on Amazon, and if you don't like it you can just return it. Other than that, I wasn't happy about that DTS sound for Kodi. I guess you can always use that movie player that comes pre-installed. But yeah, I wish Kodi would have worked. I would have preferred to have Kodi 16.1 versus 17, just so I can get like the DTS going. Overall, I haven't had any apps crashing. All the apps seem to perform okay. And overall, it's an okay box, but nothing special about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.